And Sixers from Philly on Sunday afternoon. There you see Joel Embiid, who had a tough game 4. There's a guy who did not have a tough game 4. Joel Embiid.
He only had 7 points doing that. Shaq, he was exhausted from Friday night. I'll tell you what, man.
Embiid on the defensive end, got the other end. Ben Simmons.
Give me that too.
Oh, it's a 5-point Toronto lead at that point. Kawhi again.
That might be one of the best moves of the night.
Kyle Lowry, Ibaka showed up, Marc Gasol.
2-point Toronto lead at the half. Jimmy Butler for 3. Kawhi Leonard again.
Oh, step you back.
Give me that.
Not step back, step
How
you
cool
back.
is this man? And he pulls up for 3 here. He had
Hand up, somebody.
Oh, give me candy. Oh, not yet.
Butler.
Oh, things was open in Philly. I have to tell y'all, this is not the same old Toronto team. They got a superstar there now.
Marc Gasol. And then Kawhi.
Oh, my goodness.
You got an old
He had 39, 14, and 5.
Oh, Kyle Lowry.
What you going to do?
Are you going to get him off of this natural born
Kawhi
killer?
do that?
Man, gotta do is fun to watch play basketball.
39, 14, and 5. 6th time in these playoffs that Kawhi's gone for at least 30 in the 4th straight game. He went 13 for 20 from the floor. And Toronto wins at 101-96. Boy, that defense again, they're 6-1, allowing under 100 points in these playoffs. Here's Nick Nurse.
I think it was pretty obvious we needed some punch around the roster a little bit. That's pretty good. I just thought it was a different mentality tonight than it was the other night. Right, guys were looking to shoot, taking the shots, first shot that was there. When they're putting 2 or 3 on the ball, you got to get off it, and if you're open, you got to let her fly, because there's not anybody out there that we don't want shooting the ball.
Points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Jimmy Butler had 29 and 11. But it's the Raptors, Shaq, down 2-1, who win in the other guy's gym, and now it's 2-2 heading back to Toronto.
This is an unusual team for today's basketball. They have one superstar. A lot of teams have 2, some of them. They have one superstar, and he's been playing phenomenal ball. Just need everybody else to just do a little bit. We needed Marc Gasol to be more aggressive. He did that. So the others helped him out today. And, like you said, the defense, when they hold teams under 100 points, they usually win. But they're playing great. And, when the general doesn't panic, the troops won't panic. You never see this guy panic, even though they were down going into Philly. The way he's playing, he's playing super efficient right now. 13 for 20 in the playoffs. I mean, that's, superstar basketball right there.
Didn't know how much play Siakam would get, turned day with 9, but as you pointed out, guys like Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, everybody chipped in, but it all starts with Kawhi. Ernie, when you have Shaq's been a superstar, I've been a superstar, and Ken has played with superstars. When you have a superstar, it gives you a certain amount of confidence that, like, these Raptors ain't never had that before. Like, most of the time, you're going to have if we have the best player in an NBA game, we got a chance. These Raptors have never had that before. They've had all-stars. And there's a difference between, first of all, everybody in the NBA can play. Then there's all-stars. Then there's superstars. Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. And when Siakam got off to an off, he was 0 for 8, I think, at one point today, 0 for 6, I can't remember. But when you have a superstar, those other guys we're good. And that's what Kawhi Leonard gives those guys.
Assess this series now 2-2 with Toronto reclaiming home court.
Yeah, I think Toronto has the advantage, obviously, with home court. And to echo what Charles is saying, I think it's 100% right. I think what happens when you're a good player or an all-star, they could design defensive or offensive schemes to make you do something. The difference when you're a superstar, the defensive scheme that they're putting on you, you're actually looking for as an offensive player too. So when you're trying to send Akeem Olajuwon to the baseline off the double team, he's actually dream shaking to the baseline for that. That's what he's looking for. So a superstar is actually looking for the defensive scheme, and that's his strength. So it's impossible to guard him, and it makes everybody's game easier.
Game 5 is Tuesday night in Toronto. It would have been a very shrewd pick to take Kawhi Leonard in the Auto Trader game. Anybody take him? Oh, yeah, that's right. I did. He went for 39, 14, and 5.
Well, these guys had Tobias Harris. He went 5 for 23.
And I'm still beating you.
Not after.
You have Damian
Lillard.
Yeah.
Show it.
I need 50 tonight, Dame.
Mike, give it.
I need 50 tonight.
Brian Anderson, Kevin McHale, and Dennis Scott have Game 4 covered in Portland. The Nuggets and Blazers at the top of the hour. Here inside Atlanta Studio J, it's TNT NBA Tip-Off presented by Auto Trader. Ernie Johnson along with Shaq and Kenny and Charles. And as we get set for Game 4, we've got to take a look back and a listen back at Game 3.
31.6 seconds remain on the fourth quarter clock. The backdoor cut, Martin. Layup is good. Good. Triple overtime in Portland. 140 to 137.
Now, the only other 4 overtime playoff game in NBA history was 66 years ago. The Celtics beat the Syracuse Nationals 111 to 105. Hall of Famer Dolph Schayes got kicked out of that game for fighting. Bob Cousy had 7 at the half. Finished with 50. 2 players, Red Rocha and Paul Seymour, played 67 of the 68 minutes. Friday night, the Joker played 65. So it's Portland 2-1 as we head to Game 4, and we head to Portland. And Dennis Scott. 3D, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Ernie. How are you, my friend?
Wonderful, wonderful. What you got, 3D?
Well, Ernie, I thought you had another question for me, Ernie.
No, say something, Dennis.
Come on, big fella. I thought Ernie had a follow-up
We just
question.
like looking
Ernie.
at your beautiful face.
Well, guys, we all talked about the fatigue and so many minutes being played. But here in Portland, they're excited. Why is that? Because nothing like home cooking. These teams have only lost 2 home games since January the 5th. So they're excited. But now on the Denver Nuggets side, Paul Millsap said, I'm 34 years old, now played 48 minutes. I feel great. So I said, Paul, what about your bench? This is what he had to say.
Our bench has been the staple of us winning this year. You know, if you ask me, our depth has been unbelievable. So there's no doubt that those guys are going to get back on track. We don't just rely on that. We rely on the full team effort. Coaching staffs and everybody to get the job done. But it's up to us when 1 or 2 guys are slacking, to pick up the slack. And we've been that type of team all year.
And guys, there are no back-to-backs in the playoffs, obviously, but talking to Coach Michael Malone, he said this team was 12-1 throughout the season. So he's very confident this team will come out, play good basketball, and let the ball bounce where it may.
All right, 3D, thank you so much for the live report. Took a minute, but we got there.
Let me just say this.
Be nice now.
No, I'm discriminating. That's his guy.
Let me just say this one. That Friday night game was one of the best basketball games I've ever seen. It was spectacular.
You watched the whole thing, too?
I did.
I kept going. You know what? I was getting tired. I was like, well, you know what? I watched the second over. And it just kept pulling me in.
And it was great quality basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I was saying? I was saying we had to work that game.
Oh, that's it.
I can hear Charles right now. It's like Afghanistan. We ain't gonna get out of here until 3:45.
Oh, I got something to show you, Shaq. I really want your reaction to this.
Okay.
Because Enes Kanter tweeted out something. He wanted the NBA to take notice. Take a freaking look at this, please. This is in the lane. Jokic, and Kanter's got the separated left shoulder.
I like that.
And,
That's a dirty play.
Oh, stop it.
Come on,
Charles.
Shaq. That's a dirty
Terry,
play. Charles.
Terry
Stop
Stotts says it's uncalled for.
It is.
I like that.
Shaq, stop it.
No.
Yeah. It's dirty, but you got to test it.
I wouldn't call it dirty. I would call it tactical. I remember one time. No, seriously.
Tactical.
Yes, I remember
like
one time playing against the Spurs. David Robinson was killing me, but I remember reading that he had a sore back, so I just tried to give him to him, just a couple of times in the back, just to slow him down a little bit. So if he has to do that to slow the man down, just a little bit.
Chuckster, I think you're not buying that.
Wait, before you say you buy it or not.
Have you ever done that, Chuck?
it?
Thank you. Yes.
Have you ever done
yes,
it?
he has.
Don't,
so stop
don't,
it. Yes.
Don't give me the.
Oh, Chuck, stop it.
I'm asking you,
Or have you done it and now feel bad about it?
You did it in the Olympics, Charles, remember? Against Angola.
But I'm saying when you know a guy's hurt, when you know a guy's
Angola,
hurt,
Charles.
Yeah.
if you, like he says, he's got a left separated shoulder, and he hit the guy in the left shoulder. I don't like that.
I'm not saying we didn't say we don't like it. I'm not saying have you ever
listen,
done it.
cheap shots. Of course I've done cheap shots. Everybody has. But
There's a theory.
I don't deliberately go after somebody who's got an injury. That's just
cheap
wrong.
shot, but okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
I like a hard foul, a cheap shot. Yeah, I've done that before. But I'm not going to go after somebody who got a separated shoulder and try to hurt their shoulder.
So you don't like that move just to slow him down just a little bit?
No.
So Kenny, Portland's won 12 in a row in their gym. How does Denver snap that streak? Keep in mind, Denver had lost, 14 in a row in San Antonio, down 2-1 in the series, won a huge Game 4 in San Antonio, and eventually won the series.
Ernie, I'm gonna go back. I just remember, because you're not on social media, but the night this side of the room said the Portland Trailblazers are the most clear and present danger to the Golden State Warriors. Everything on my social went crazy. All of my friends, everybody in the NBA texted me, oh, these guys aren't it. And we said, well, two guys, Rodney Hood and it's Cantor. Oh, now Rodney Hood shows up. Because what happens is these, McCollum and Lillard had to make every single big play. They don't have to make every single big play now. They went to Rodney Hood in the fourth overtime in the post, down 2.
In the last 145.
Down 2. You just don't. That just allows them. I'll give you your seconds in a minute. It allows you to play basketball and be great. That's all.
The Portland Trail Blazers are going to the NBA Finals. I'm doubling down on that.
We already got it on the wall.
They are going to the NBA Finals. Whether it's the Warriors or the Rockets, the Portland Trail Blazers are going to the Finals, period.
However, today is a must-win.
For who?
For Portland.
I agree with you. They need to win. But I'm going to tell you, they're going to win. They're going to win tonight, Shaq, and they're going to the NBA Finals.
Listen, the quadruple overtime game was good. Both guys played good, but both those guys, the guard for Portland, going to have to get in the high 20s. They're going to have to go off tonight.
Well, let me ask you a question. You saw Joel Embiid today, had nothing in the tank.
Nothing.
How much do you think the Joker's got left in the tank tonight?
I'm not sure.
I don't, he looked, I mean,
But
he looked very tired.
He
He looked very tired after the second overtime.
33, 18, and 14 in 65 minutes of work and a fairly
How
quick
old is he?
turnaround.
What did he
21?
do, really? I think I heard it, but and I was watching it, and somebody said it. But what he did in the overtimes, the third and fourth overtimes is when I start to see the fatigue start to.
This is a quick turnaround, and I've told you this, Ernie.
To show.
The Portland Trail Blazers, in my opinion, have the best bench in the NBA.
And he doesn't have a body like Ibaka, so a body like Ibaka. So
Yeah, but this game is
He got a body like
has a lot of
Chewbacca.
pressure on Portland. Must win for Portland.
Oh, it's for Portland, but I'm saying this is when their bench is really going to show tonight. Like Paul Millsap said, that Denver's got a good bench. Their bench is not as good as Portland.
All right, let's just talk ifs for a couple seconds.
We got to go to break.
Okay, got it.
All right,
Can
we
I ask
can-
one question? Okay,
Real
go ahead.
quick- real
Go ahead.
quickie.
If Portland loses, who's going to win the series? That's
Portland.
What I wanna know.
Portland's still going to win the series, but they're going to put the stranglehold on their neck tonight.
Got it.
When we come back, it is Game 4 in Philadelphia between the Raptors and Sixers. And
why y'all doing Dennis like that, Ernie?
I didn't.